Actually, I'm an RIT alumni. This is the place where I did my engineering. This is the place I formed my first rock band, which was called Harlem. That was the first college rock band. This is the place I made some lovely friends. And this is the place where I actually got elected as a sports secretary in my fourth year. And we kickstarted this whole annual sporting event called Stamina. So yeah, I mean, it's an honor and it's overwhelming to be here back after 25 years. In 1998, I stepped out, passed out of engineering, and I was one of the few who stayed back in India. Almost all my friends whom I know moved out, they did their masters, and they worked outside India. And during 1998, the whole Indian economy was around 11th in the global ranking. Today, as you know, that we are 5th largest, and in 2030, the prediction is that we are going to be 3rd largest economy. I'm glad that I stayed back because I was part of this whole dynamic environment and growth that I experienced in the Indian economy. So today, as I speak about leadership in the new era, I totally believe that it's a buildup of all the inspirations that I got in my personal life, professional career, sports and music, which I'm passionate about. I was born in a family of engineers, and my father was a computer scientist. He and his team, against all odds and with limited resources, created one of the first supercomputer and the fastest supercomputer in India. He was witty, intelligent, stern, very polite, man of few words. He was the first leader that I ever experienced. My mother was a homemaker and very effortless. She did all the things. I still don't remember a single day that she rested. And as a housewife, I just loved how she planned, negotiated, managed, and took that extra care of the family. My parents taught me a lot, and I believe that they were the foundation of my leadership skills. As a kid, I never enjoyed structured learning. It was difficult. I couldn't continue with classes, trainings, which were so structured, and pretty much self-learned all the subjects and self-learned music. Music is very close to my heart. I'm very, very passionate about music. I started playing guitar when I was 13. And if you look at a guitar, it has just 6 strings and 12 notes. Within these limits, it is limitless. I improvise to compose songs, create music, and that's the time I experienced the art of possibility and art of creativity. I played in rock bands named Harlem, Deconstruct, Hatred, Inner Voices, Vadyam, and so on. The whole process, by the way, it's very funny, but the whole process of naming the band and coming to an agreement with the name itself is a big branding lesson that you learn in management. But playing in band taught me very basic and fundamental leadership skills. And how to create the best out of the different skills, how to practice again and again to be perfect. And when we used to do the live concerts, we had this whole process of doing the sound check. That taught me how to plan and prepare. And when we used to play live, if any of the bandmate fumbled, as a team, we used to rally as band members and ensure that the show doesn't stop, or we step up and let the song not go off tune. Being in band, I learned brotherhood and team bonding. Music also taught me that there is a solution to every problem. In this fast-paced world, you need to be spontaneous. You need to be creative. And when I have a hard day and my chips are down, I go back and listen to my favorite albums and get inspired and relax through music. And music really uplifts my mood. Sports came to my life pretty much before music. I was a kid growing in 80s when we saw India cricket team winning the World Cup. And I'm sure a lot of you won't be able to dash with it. And when we were glued to the black and white televisions, we saw the Champion Series with the Indian cricket team won. As a kid, I started to dream that I want to play in the Indian cricket team. I was a fairly good cricketer. I practiced a lot. I practiced in front of mirror, wearing all the helmet, gloves, and pads, and imagined myself to play with all the superstars in the Indian cricket team. But what this whole process of being in sports gave me is sports have become a very important and a very integral part of my weekly routine. In spite of today's hectic schedule, I take time off to either play cricket, badminton, or tennis. And when I play sports, it takes me to the world of strategy, tactics, competition. Sports for me is like meditation. It keeps me focused, calm. It tests my temperament, ethics, behavior. And I push my physical limits to jump, stretch, run. And all I think about that time is to see how my team can win. And when we win, the whole feeling of ecstasy, the fist going up, the applause that I hear just takes me to a different world. Sports also taught me how to deal with both the sides of the coin. It's very important to learn how to be humble when you win. And it's very important to learn not to get frustrated and learn from your losses when you lose. The toughest part of sports is when you attach yourself with superheroes, you follow them, you worship them, and when you see them retiring, and when you see tears in their eyes, that's the time you feel what it takes to be a champion. What amazes me today is how sporting events come back to normalcy much faster. You look at war, you look at slowdown, you look at pandemic, how sports came back, and we all played. We saw how sports was played in the empty stadiums during the COVID times. Today, I also get amazed with the amount of technology that is getting used in sports. The wearable tech, the video analytics, the software to predict the possible outcome, and the famous Hawkeye cameras for the umpires to take the decision. I think it's just taking the sports to a very different level, and there is no room for error. Last 25 years, technology had been the main driver for all the transformation in the country. Imagine yourself during the COVID times if you didn't have the internet connectivity. We experienced the importance of technology when we were working from office, and overnight the lockdown was announced and we worked. The transitions were so smooth. You all experienced in your learning careers, your teaching careers, where you were used to be in a physical world, and suddenly the transition happened where you were actually dealing with all your students over a virtual world. Today, we are in the world of digitalization era. I remember the first hiss sound of the modem when I got connected to the internet. I remember the first search that I did. I remember the first email ID that I created, the first password that I created, the first mobile that I bought, the first text message that I wrote to my girlfriend, the first social network site that I accessed to reach out to all my lost college and school buddies, and so many first. Today, as a leader, I believe it's very important to embrace technology. Technology is enabling us with data, facts, knowledge to take smart decisions. It is changing the way we think. It is connecting us with people across the world. It is making us share, collaborate our ideas, skills. It's playing a very important role in our lives today. I get very curious and to learn and explore new technologies constantly to find if I can get a better solution to the problems that we are seeing around. Adoption of technology, by the way, has its own risk. And dealing with risk is one of the most important thing in today's world, which is called the VUCA world. Risk sometimes is understated, sometimes it is overrated. It's very tough sometimes to plan, define, or predict risk. I'll give you a simple example. For an engineer who actually makes the aeroplane, believes that this is the most safest mode to travel. For a pilot, flying plane is a day job. For a business traveler like me, it's the fastest way to go from a city to city so that I can complete and finish my meetings and come back home with my family fast. For a tourist, and I don't know whether you've seen, they pray that this plane should reach safely in the tourist destination. And for someone who's never flown, he looks at the plane and thinks that this is going to fall on my head. So everybody is perceiving risk differently. What I believe is dealing with risk requires a great combination and balance of your experience, knowledge, instinct, and guts. As a business leader, what kind of risk you take in your decision making? As an entrepreneur, what kind of risk you take in your startups? As a captain or a coach of your team, what risk do you take in your matches? In today's complex world, it's very, very important to strike the right balance. And finally, talking about balance. When you all will go out there, your world is going to be super busy. I remember the best times that I had was here, the 4 years that I was in the college. It is so fast-paced out there, you have to learn how to balance your time. Today, with the whole network and the technology, you are expanding your connects. You have so many followers, so many friends. But at the end of the day, we are going away from the physical and the social touch that we all had as human beings before. It's very important to understand that your team, students, people, teachers, friends, family, peers, bosses, they finally are made of people and human beings. It is very important to spend time with them, invest in relations. One of the early managers of my life told me, your network is your net worth. So spend that time, invest in relations, because it's all about people. As a leader, I have created high-performing teams by spending that time with them, with hearing them, listening to them, encouraging them, supporting them. COVID times were the best for the leaders like us to step up and help each other. As a leader, I believe that in my team members, I need to create more leaders. It's a cluster of leaders that come together as a team. It's not that a single leader can lead everything. And I have experienced this whole thing that when people come together, they can do wonders. The sad part is in any form of crisis, if you look at it, it's the people who get impacted the most. Whether it is the dot-com burst that happened when we just passed out, we were just around the corner for the Y2K. There were so many people who lost jobs. The subprime financial crisis that happened around 2008, 2009, so many businesses got closed, and the pandemic that shut down the whole world. As we come back to normalcy, I seriously hope something like this never happens. But we don't know what's going to hit us next. Today, climate and sustainability are the big issues that the world and the business leaders have to deal with. As leaders, we need to go back to the basics and do the best things for this humanity and earth. We can't afford to be selfish. We cannot afford to be alone as humans. We have to create and build nations with an ecosystem, with people around it. So the final question is, can you all be leaders? Can you all be leaders of leaders? I believe in the sphere of influence that we live in, whether it's in college, whether it's in school, whether it's at work, whether in the society that you live in. You all can be leaders. You all can have leadership roles. Let's all learn to be leaders, and let's inspire. Thank you.